Hello, everybody, and welcome back to CK Café. On today's episode, we are joined by Joy Walsh, director, producer, and photographer, among many other things, but those are her big three.
Big three, yeah. She does a lot, and we were so lucky to collaborate with her on a short film called The Last Autumn. That was the first time that I got a chance to work with her. And then we recently worked on our feature film, Offsides. She was our unit production manager and a co-producer on the project. Joy's one of those people who's just so infectious, both on set and offset, and she's just a wonderful person and has some really exciting and cool projects. So we hope you enjoy this conversation we had with the incredible, the joyful Joy Walsh. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to CK Cafe, here with Rosie as always. And we have a very special guest, a dear friend of ours, Miss Joy Walsh. Joy, how you doing? Welcome.
I'm wonderful. Thank you guys for having me so much.
Thank you.
I've been looking forward to coming into the CK space for a while, so
I know you're here at the HQ, live from Brooklyn. I know this is a lot of fun.
Shout out Brooklyn.
Pre-recorded from Brooklyn.
Pre-recorded, yeah, that's true. So Joy, we've collaborated with each other on a few different things now. But before we dive into our collaboration, before we dive into the many projects that you're working on, because you have a million things you're working on, I'm so excited to talk about it. I want to hear about you. How did you get started? How did you get into the creative space? Because you're a true multi-hyphenate, one who does everything. So tell us a little bit about you, your journey, and how you got to where you are now.
So now I can give myself the title of like producer, director, photographer. And do I do things outside of there? Yes. But I want to stick with those three because it's the ones I do the most. And so I've always been creative. Singing was the thing that came natural to me the most. And for a while, I was going to do that professionally. So I did everything from like singing for Donnie McClurkin's church. If you know Donnie McClurkin, and he is a gospel legend, singing for his church and traveling to Disney to do competitions, NYSMA, all of that musical stuff. Yeah. And then I had surgery on my vocal cords when I was in 12th grade, and music kind of was not sure for me. So I went to college. I went to Suffolk, shout out Suffolk, community college. And I was like, well, maybe if I can't be in front of the stage, maybe I'll be behind it. And I fell in love with film and TV and the process of building a project from scratch out of your own mind. And so after doing an internship with the media department at Suffolk and shooting a domestic violence campaign and then doing a short tattoo documentary, because I was like obsessed. I'm still obsessed with tattoos, but I was really obsessed at the time. I was like, oh, I kind of really like this. And then I went to Brooklyn College and studied film, and that changed everything for me. Because Suffolk was like a TV broadcasting radio kind of vibe. And then moving to film and really getting that holistic knowledge really changed everything. And I was like, oh, I want to direct. I want to produce. These are the things I feel like I'm innately good at. And while I was at Suffolk, I picked up my first camera. And it was a Canon T5i Rebel.
Okay, there you go.
Rebel series. And I wanted to train the way I saw the world. I wanted to train my eye. I wanted to train in shot composition. And I also wanted to capture moments of people and places and things. And I just fell in love with photography. And I'm still a photographer. And so I think it really does help shape my eye. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice way to make money too. But I love capturing special moments, but I also love building moments from scratch. And you can do that with photography. And it seems the most accessible,
Yeah.
Obviously, film is a little bit more slow work. And photography, you can kind of like...
It's very DIY.
Yes. And you can get the results a little bit faster too.
Sure.
So, and I think reinventing and being able to pivot was my strength in all of that. Because do I still sing? Yeah, my thesis was a musical. So after like stepping away from music for a while, like feeling my voice wasn't where I wanted it to be a professional, but still loving sound and loving music. And my husband makes music, so it's always kind of been embedded inside of me. And my little brother is a musician now, and so for my thesis, I wanted to combine the loves of both of my worlds, like music and film, and it went really well, and it did well, and it was also proof that if I stick to what I know, I can create freely.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of follows me
amazing.
Till now,
Yeah. And now you do literally everything, like you alluded to in the beginning. But like, because when I met you, you were an AC on a project.
Because I love the camera.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, okay, wow, Joy's a great AC. Your name, Joy, is the perfect name for you because you're always smiling, you're always happy, always bringing the great energy on set. But I knew you from a technical department. And then I'm like, and then I think we met up. I was following you on Instagram, and I saw you were directing something. Then you were doing photography. Then you were, I think you were DPing something or something. You were working behind the camera in another position. I don't know what it was, but I'm just like, this girl does everything. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. And then we met up for coffee one day, and then we really dove in. Like, what do you do? How do you do that?
That was after Tribeca because I had
we saw each other at Tribeca last year. You were there too.
That's when I was like, we need to sit down. Because at the time, when I hopped on that AC job, I had just quit my creative 9-to-5. I was a producer for a nonprofit tech company called The Knowledge House. It was based in the South Bronx, and it expanded to LA, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Newark, New Jersey.
Wow.
And it was this nonprofit, Black-owned nonprofit organization that like put people in underserved communities into tech training for free and placed them into jobs. So I really messed with the story. They were really doing God's work. And, the folks were really down to earth and cool. And so I was producing those stories. And I was, hunting folk down. And I had worked in a little bit of a political space at the time, but I had quit because I used to say to myself, Martin Scorsese didn't wake an Oscar sticking with his non-profit, or I used to just say weird things but it was true. Like, you creatively peak. Nonprofits have their own rigmarole and equipment and stuff, and I also felt like I wasn't learning enough about cinema cameras in order to shape my eye in a technical sense. And I missed narrative. To be honest with you, I missed creating stories. And don't get me wrong, I think my time at the Knowledge House was so integral. It gave me stability so I could have my boy. I got maternity leave. Boop, boop.
Nice.
And which was great.
That's
and
wonderful.
I could be a mom.
Yeah.
And he was 1 when I quit. So he was a decent age, right? And my husband had been like bugging me just to I think you've peaked. Like, you've done all you can do here.
Yeah.
Like, it's time to move on. And I'm like, what? I'm scared.
That's the hard part about the commercial space, though, right? It's like anytime you're creating, it still requires all the necessary fundamentals of what you learn to be a creative.
Right.
But then also, it's not. Yeah, like you said, you plateau. You get to a point where it's just like, there's nothing else I can creatively do here. And the comfort and the stability and all that it's so beautiful and it's amazing. It's great. But to go out and create your own stuff it's a huge leap.
Also, just like the way of life, like having a clock in, clock out type of job is so
structure.
Nice. Structure's so beautiful. Nice. And when you're doing now, like how you're doing it, you have to be so structured in your own right and like really hold yourself accountable to sticking to a schedule.
Oh yeah,
you're so right about that accountability word. Ooh, is that a hard word? And I think right now, and I've been really blessed because I built the community that I did. So when I did quit, like, I called Joao immediately. And I was like, hey, brother, I'm out of the game. I need to get my hands on a cinema camera now.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to know what I missed out on. All my friends were running around doing narrative, kind of just like doing whatever. And, I'm working at this nonprofit space. I'm begging them for a budget. I'm begging for a budget. And, I got them to get the same camera I had at the time, which was a Sony A7 III. I still have my Sony. That's my doc Sony. But begging them for
true
that.
Camera. Yeah.
Because they needed to do photography too. So I had to optimize. I couldn't just pick a a
See, but
video
it's so
camera.
tough. Even doing that, like when you work in the commercial space, having to compromise on like
Yeah.
the type of gear you can play with, and it's
And the type of
tough.
stories you can
It's
tell.
type of
I had
stories
to
you
stick
tell.
to
Yeah.
their brand,
Yeah.
which was, tech. And I like
Yeah.
Actually,
Shout out Tech.
shout out to tech.
Shout out tech. No, I mean, I think you've done such a great job at taking that leap, because even since I've known you the last few years, like just seeing your progression and really becoming what I think your best strength is, a producer. I mean, I think you're just an unbelievable producer.
You believe it or not, I'm a better director.
I'm sure, but I think you and I work together so much as in the producing world, and I think like you have what, and Rosie and I were just talking about recently about how you have this ability to be extremely charismatic and excited and keep crews excited and engaged, but then also be able to have that professional side, which is so necessary, especially for independent film, which could always feel very lax, right? And should be to some degree, right? No one's
We're
making
not
no one's making tons of money.
brain
No.
surgery either.
Exactly.
We're
Yeah,
making
we should have fun.
art.
We should have fun, and no one's making a ridiculous amount of money making an independent feature, right? But being able to bring a level of still professionalism and uniformity and just a structure to a set is so important to me, and I think we've been able to do that with our project with Offsides, which Rosie starred in, and
So good.
you produce as well with me, and it's just like going from grabbing that as like a concept, even when I first told you about it, to then having to formulate, how do we make a micro budget feature film work? How do we do all of this, right? And we somehow did it, and I think it speaks to you as a producer. So I want to hear a little bit about like your producing journey and what that's been like, because you're also working on a bunch of other projects. I'd love to hear about all of it and how it's been.
Yeah. So, like I said, when I had the community, I called folks, and I had been producing for this nonprofit. So I think what they needed was someone that could talk to people, make people feel comfortable, because I'm not working with actors in this space. I'm working with actually quite vulnerable people. And I did a lot of boudoir photography as well. So again, with vulnerability and meeting people where they are and making them feel comfortable enough to show certain parts of them in a video sense for the nonprofit, for these underserved communities. And then for photography, women being naked. So everybody's showing different sides of themselves. You have to make sure you're building a comfortable space. And I think that's what, like you said, my strength is as a producer. And I learned and leaned into that strength at the nonprofit. So then out of that, my friend had called me and said, hey, I'm doing my thesis and I want to do it big. Can you produce it for me? And I'm like, all right, why not? She was in my thesis. It's my girl. Shout out Kendra. Love Kendra Dennis bad. And so we had to police shut down a block. And the police were like, this is the wrong permit. And so de-escalating that had been my strength. And I used de-escalation and also meeting people where they're at, being vulnerable with them, communing with them, and creating a safe space is like, for me, it's integral to make a set during pre-production, day of, and post move seamlessly. So I try to bring like that kind of energy to producing, and I think it really does help. But it also has been embedded in me for a while doing that nonprofit. And I think also now, because I'm doing a documentary on George Ford, he's a Black American illustrator, and he's 99 years old. George is 99. Oof. And we're working on this doc, and it's going to be a docuseries on his life through the decades of 100 years as a great American illustrator.
Wow.
And if you're not familiar with George Ford's work, he did The Story of Ruby Bridges for Scholastics, and he did The Story of Ray Charles, and that won him the Coretta Scott King Award, the first illustrator to win that award.
Wow.
And he's quite prolific in the Black art children's book spaces. Really prolific man.
That's amazing.
And he's 99. And George is moves to the beat of his own drum. And not only that, his recollection skills is absolutely amazing. There's no, you see this 99-year-old man and you're just like, what are you? He's amazing. And so working with him and also keeping him on the story.
Yeah.
And meeting him where he's at, right? Because I go to his house and it's filled with art. I mean, books are everywhere, pouring out of his house. And, we talk, we chat, and I interview him.
Yeah.
And we talk about his entire life from the Great Depression to now.
Wow.
And so you learn patience too. And I bring that patience with me to my narrative productions.
Yeah.
Like I'm producing a Black historical narrative short called Cuffy Tax. It's about Paul Cuffy, and he is he was the richest Black man of his time, like in America, at like 18. I want to say the 1840s, like right, after Revolutionary War. He was the first Black man to sit with an active president, James Madison. Wow. He was the reason Black men could vote early in Massachusetts. First integrated school in the country in Massachusetts was a Black captain fleet master. And he was so prolific, they didn't let anybody do what he did after he died. They were like, no one can do this again. We cannot have this Black man. He's Black and indigenous, Black and Wampanoag. And I'm doing the story on him, and it's been a beast. And I'm producing it with a really talented writer-director, Anita Allison. And we're shooting next week, which is great because we've done so much work. This short is moving like a feature. Yeah. And it requires a lot of patience and a lot of tediousness, but it also requires me as a producer to constantly encourage my director that she can do this, that the project will be made.
Yep.
And if I can't keep a level head, then I can't expect anybody else in the production to keep a level head.
100%.
I feel like a producer has to be the pinnacle of like, we got this, y'all. Because human will is really important for making art.
I think so too. Yeah. 100%.
It's all willpower, all of it, especially from an independent sense.
Yeah.
And so we have to really keep each other's wills up. And I think it starts with the producer.
100%. Yeah.
That's such a good point. We always say, like, we have certain friends in our lives who are pursuing the arts, and to us, like, their success is inevitable. But it's so hard to see your own success as an inevitability. But I think that the job of a producer is to see the project's success as inevitable. Yeah. And I think that's something that you do so well.
It is I like to behave in the art space as inevitability. Yeah. Like, I tell people all the time, this is my plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah.
If I act like there's something else, then I'll always think in my head, well, if I don't, then. Yeah. And I can't do that. Yeah. I won't do the things I set out to do if I think that way. If I think that this is the only option, like, I gotta make this happen, then I can move in a way that allows me to be flexible, number one, because I have to be flexible. Things, think on the fly, put out those small fires that pop up, because they do. They will. That's inevitable. Yeah. And so if I just have to think, well, Joy, you got to get it done, then it kind of like frees me a bit.
Yeah, that focus, it like keeps you focused too in a way that is, I know exactly what you mean. Because I think that way every time I make any project. I always think like what Rosie said, that there's no other choice. It has to get done. We got to get from point A to point B, right? The route that we take to get there will be decided on the day of. I can plan it as much as I want, but the day of will tell me what route we're taking to get there. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the project is going to get done. And as a producer, you have to have that mentality from concept. You know what I mean? Not even from when we're on set. It's like way before. And I think you do a great job at it. And I mean, the stories that you're talking about telling, they're large scale. You know, I know, this historical film you're working on is a short, but like you said, it's being handled like a feature. Yeah. How have you battled with yourself to make sure that you can stay focused on such a large scale project because it is so taxing
Yeah.
to tell a historical piece. You know, it's not, you can't just go outside and pull out the camera and say, okay, great, we're going to shoot here, we're going to shoot here, we're going to make it work. You know, it takes wardrobe and takes so much coordination. How has that been, and how do you stick with it?
I think you have to build a team. I think your community and who's around you matters the most. The larger things are, the more effort they're going to take, more manpower they're going to take. And so I've been grateful to work with Anita in that, you know, we both are putting our heads together, because not only is she's the writer and director, she's the executive producer. So she's fundraising the money. Mm-hmm. And so we're making decisions together based on what we've discussed, putting our brains together, putting our resources, putting our communities together in different ways to cover ground.
To make sure everything's done. Yeah.
And so, you know, we have our AP, we have our production coordinator, and even that is a small team compared to what the lift is.
Yeah.
Even that is.
Man.
So, you know, I think also giving each other grace too. Like being graceful with it. Like, we know what's at stake. And also, we know that this is the short.
Yeah.
And we can make some mistakes. They're gonna be made. And if you're operating from a place of perfection, sorry for you.
Yeah. Especially with a project like that. Like, I do think that Rosie and I have this conversation often about, like, people not making their project because they're chasing perfection. Mm-hmm. And I think from a producing perspective, it's very easy to be like, well, you know, really, we would need 60,000 in order to make this happen. So we're just not going to do it until we have that 60K, or we need this amount, or else we're not going to, or we need this kind of set, or else I can't make the movie. But being able to be adaptable and, being able to think on your toes is important, even with the historical piece, because you have no choice. But like you said, like we were talking about, you have no choice but to make it. You guys are already this far. At this point, it's just like, no matter what happens, you got to make the best possible thing. Yeah. And I commend you and your entire team working on the film for not backing down from the challenge of historical piece.
I told her the other day, I said, the train has left the station, girl. There ain't no brakes on this. Like, we ain't got no choice. So we'll just figure it out, because we don't have a choice. But also, again, like, for me, that's a freeing notion, because it has to happen, right?
Yeah.
We can't excuse it. We just do it.
I feel the same way about acting. Like, they're going to say action, and I have to do the thing. Like, when action, sometimes before, like, when we're, like, setting up for a shot, I'm like, oh, they're going to say it, and I have to do it. And it'll be something that I, like, don't really want to do. Like, I jump in cold water, or, like, you know, something crazy. And I'm like, when they say action, like, I'm doing it, and I'm going to act like I want to do it, and it's happening, and the only way out is cut. Like, and that's just, like, so freeing.
Yeah.
It's, you just have to, like, put everything aside, and just the only way out is through.
Yeah.
And that's, like, just film in general. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's a privilege to be able, I always know that I'm living a privileged life. When I'm, like, out here doing the thing, I know, like, I always try to tell people, I say it a lot, we're not doing, and because someone else said it, and it was like, we're not performing brain surgery. We're making art. We are entertaining. We're in the business of information and entertainment. We're here to inform and entertain. Yes, art is important. It is a human right, for sure. Yeah. But I want people to understand that the stakes are high, but they're not as high as you are making them. And so, like, relax.
Yeah.
Relax. Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Like, people are giving their time, blood, sweat, and tears, money. For sure, it's an endeavor. But if we give it like that kind of energy, and anxious energy, you're not going to get the product you want.
No.
You're not going to get, like, not all of us are like Van Gogh and can operate on crazy. Like, I'm so sorry. Because, biting off someone's ear, not my style. And I don't want to create art like that. That requires me to chew people's ears off. Like, that's not my type of art that I'd like to create. I'm doing this from a place of love.
Yeah.
And so I want to try to lead with love.
So you're, like, not anti-suffering for the art, but, like, that's not the way you feel like things
I think there's a lot of suffering in life anyways. Yeah. I think life is suffering.
Yeah.
And so as I, like, live my life, and so many things have happened to me, that I expect the suffering from life, not my art. My art can reflect my suffering,
Right.
But I'm in love when I'm doing the art,
Yeah.
reflecting my suffering.
Because there's no better job in the world, right?
Right.
We love it so much. It's like
That's
at
beautiful.
the end of the day, we can complain about the
Yeah.
hours on a set, how tired we are. Oh, we got a million things to do. We got to make sure we hit all of these shots in a day. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, we're making something. We're having, we're so blessed to create, you know, and it's, yeah, fully.
I think you have to be kind of grateful.
Yeah.
Like I think life has kind of life these last couple of years, and I think I speak for everybody because we're living in unprecedented times.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think, like, in spite of all of that, I get to do this, and so I live in gratitude, and that informs all of the decisions I make and how I try to live my life, how I try to live as a producer. You know, we're all really grateful to do the thing. So let's behave with a bit of gratitude, huh?
Yeah.
It'll make the job easier, I promise.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll make it go by faster and less painful.
100%. It doesn't matter the kind of job either. Whatever the job is, if you approach it with that sort of sense of positivity, every job is fun. Yeah, it's 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. So talk to me about your directing. I know you also are a director. You have a bunch of projects you're trying to get off the ground that you want to do. Tell me about, how you approach a project from a directing lens, because I do think as a producer director as well, and Rosie being a producer, actor, and director as well, you do a little bit of everything. I think there's different hats we wear, and it's like that producer hat sometimes could feel so overwhelming for one reason, but the director hat is a different kind of overwhelming. So tell me about your process and the differences between director joy and producer joy.
I think director joy and photographer joy are a lot alike, because that's what I do when I'm doing photography. And that is kind of like innate to me. I'm directing the models, I'm building the vision creatively. I'm, in touch with wardrobe, sculpting the looks, and makeup, sculpting the looks, and it's really coming out from my brain to the screen. So I think director joy is someone who is very actor-centric, model-centric, because I know, because I was acting, because I came from a theater background and a singer background, I know how they feel.
Yeah.
And so I relate to them and that relationship they have with the screen or the stage and or the studio. And I think when I approach it as like, I wouldn't put you in any position I wouldn't put myself in, and I'm willing to do whatever. So come and take this journey with me, and let's take it together. And so when I do, and when you're in a nonprofit, where you're doing a lot of documentary, you play director a lot as well. Because again,
you're wearing all the hats.
You're wearing those hats. When you're doing narrative, and I just shot micro narrative. So I'm doing a series of micro shorts that I am writing, directing, producing. And it's just kind of to like reintroduce myself narratively, because I've been in the nonfiction space for so long that I want to reintroduce myself narratively and really connect with actors and stunt actors and, build those worlds. Because I've already connected with like set and designers and costume and wardrobe. I've already connected with them as a producer, but I think the relationship between those actors and me is what's different.
Because it's
about
totally
directing.
different with producer, and those creative heads of departments.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at it from the larger picture sense.
Exactly.
But a director, you're thinking of every single moment.
Yeah, and every single shot, every single frame, and every single word, and every single sound.
Yeah.
It's not just the audio coming out of their mouths. It's the audio around the world that you're building.
Yeah.
And so I think I think directing can be freeing in a sense, and I think that's why it's the ultimate love of my life, because I think producing allows me to like create it from a logistical sense, but directing is full on like technical and creative.
Yeah.
And creative and artistic, in a way where I have to form the identities and put them on screen. Whether I'm like I think it was Wednesday, I was doing a shoot, and me and this girl had been planning the shoot for 5 years. and it was in Persephone, the goddess of spring, and queen of the underworld. Shoot, and we put this
cool.
look together, and we'd been putting this look together for so long, and the color and the props and everything, the makeup, the hair, the nails, every single detail, the place. And that's what directing essentially is for a narrative, is sort of like this world building with your subjects in them, and what place they are and who their characters are. So the micro short that is in post right now is called You Know Me. And and you come in, it's a lady, she's trapped in a white room, and she's being berated by her therapist. But the therapist is actually her. So it's played by one person.
Wow, interesting.
And she plays two parts. And she plays these two different people, herself and her therapist.
And did you write it as well?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And we set certain parameters, because I was in this writing group. We set certain parameters: one actor, one place, one to two actors, one location, 3 pages.
Nice.
Ooh.
So kind of like stricken.
Yeah. Get it very focused. Yeah, I love
but that also like gives you a little freedom too, where it's like, now I have to like make up this world. And so Jada Foreman, who is an actress I worked with on my friend's thesis Flossie, which is now in post-production. It should be in the festivals this summer. I worked with Jada, fell in love with Jada. She's absolutely adorable. And we were looking for a stunt double because there's a tackle scene, like she like tackles the therapist. And I was like, and I'm looking at Jada, I'm looking at myself, I'm like, I'm gonna be your stunt double.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So I ended up being the stunt double.
While
directing.
That's so fun.
But like I said, I would never make my actor do something that I wouldn't be willing to do, and I'm willing to do whatever.
Yeah.
And I was able to, be who I needed to be back directing and knowing what the risks are for the actor, so I can build the world and get the performance and build it from the ground up. And I'm exactly where I want to be when I'm doing that stuff.
That's awesome.
So I love directing in that way. And as a photographer, I can always scratch that directing itch when I do it, when I'm building those worlds,
Yeah. Do you like storyboard or shot list and like write? I always like asking directors their process, but like, do you take the script and like put the names of the shots like where you want them, or do you find the edit in the edit?
I really like the structure of shot listing and storyboarding.
Me too.
If I can have I think a camera rehearsal with, a phone that can change focal lengths is a necessity. I don't care what you're doing. If you can do that, do that. Because that will inform the whole day. And also it gives you the freedom the day of, if you want to try something new. Or if you have a limited time, I know I can eliminate this shot, this shot, this shot. I think everything, pre-production is everything. For a director and for a producer, pre-production and being able to build that beforehand will inform the day of. So I love to do the storyboarding. I love to do blocking rehearsals, especially if there's like stunts, right? We're tackling each other. Let's get the blow up bed.
Yeah, anytime there's anything really big, rehearsing
let's
that
get in the
set piece.
studio, let's get in the blow up bed and let's tackle each other till it feels good. Like, that's the kind of director I am. And that's a privilege to be like that, because sometimes you don't have that.
I was going to say, do you feel like, because you have so much nonfiction and documentary experience, do you feel like a lot of what you create also is on the fly as well? Like, is that something that you try to bring into your fiction filmmaking?
I have control issues. I know that about me. I have control issues. So on the fly is not rare, but I have to allot time for on the fly for me to feel comfortable.
It's like an organized
chaos.
chaos.
It's an organized chaos for real. And so I want to be like, David Lynch, let's do it. Let's take 100 takes till we get it right. I know that's not me. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like the black mama in me is like, nah.
But that's also a really good way to be,
Yeah.
especially on
It
an
is a good
indie
way
set.
to
Like, you know what you
Yeah.
want, you got it, we're good.
That's what I'm so sorry. Like like maybe one day when the budget is just
Yeah, you got something endless. Yeah, 100%.
I'm not at that stage right
No.
now anymore.
And I think with indie filmmaking, it is important to have that ability where like, okay, I will be flexible. I'm going to allot some time to be flexible, but also being strict. I mean, you don't have all the money in the world.
yeah,
so.
and the time.
The time, yeah.
We got to get out of here. I
Yeah.
rented the space out for
Yeah, we
this.
got 4 hours here. We got to bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're also losing light.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God.
That's the producer in me, and sometimes I do AD too. So I'm very time conscious, and I think working on New Amsterdam when I was the first team PA, I was very conscious. I had to be conscious of time because I'm
Yeah.
doing pickups, drop off, actors coming this time, gotta fly them to set. So I'm the 80s like mouthpiece barking in my ear, and I became super time conscious
Yeah.
because of it. And that was right out of college. I worked on New Amsterdam.
That's amazing.
Oh.
What is it like working on, something like network versus something like indie? Like, what do you feel are the big differences besides budget, besides scale? What do you feel like the day-to-day set feels in the difference between the two?
Manpower, and also I think some of those people are maybe jaded. Yeah, we get a lot of the energy is different. Yeah, they're jaded. They're like, yeah, I went to like Bangkok and I shot this movie. I'm like, all right. They're jaded, and so I think they're a little bit more used to like the kind of like, this is my job. But I think in the indie world, we're all so excited and we just love the thing, and we're willing to take the risk and have fun, and we're giggling and being little weirdos. And I just really like that.
Me too.
And so but I also think network is safe and structured and it's scale. Like I worked in a hospital show.
Yeah.
So you would step into the set and it'd be like, I'm in a hospital.
Yeah.
And that's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is.
It's so
the dream.
cool.
I think they're both. It's so cool. Like larger budget things, whether it's network or a large budget feature, anything. It just feels like there's a place for it that feels so exciting and freeing in its own way, but then also so structured and like kind of restrictive in another way. But it's I guess the grass is always greener. Either
It's
side,
so cool
right?
that you got that experience, because me and Ethan are very much both like working our way up from the smallest of indies, and then like it gets a little bigger every time.
Yeah.
But neither of us have experience on those big
No.
hustle and
Yeah.
bustle sets. Like,
Yeah, especially not in a creative executive role.
Well, mine was
You
it.
know?
First team PA is not creative or executive.
It's true, but still,
And I
you
said
know.
to myself after that, it taught me one thing, is that I'm not doing network television or network movies unless I'm making the decisions.
Yeah.
Because not for nothing, they see me and, I'm a PA and, I'm a first team PA, so I have a little bit more privileges, right? And a little bit more respect because I'm handling the actors, and the actors don't play about me.
Yeah.
Ryan Eggle didn't play about me. Shout out Ryan. Love Ryan. I saw him at Tribeca when we met.
There
I
we
was
go.
like, hey. Like we did it. So we sang together. He played the piano. We sang together. I have that video. He posted on his Insta. That's my boy.
he's really sweet.
He's
I
a
met him
sweet
once
guy.
too.
Yeah, and he's super sweet. And so the actors liked me. So I was liked. And, I'm jolly most of the time. You really got to be out of pocket to get me out of pocket.
I never really seen
enjoy
you
it.
not jolly, so I don't know
Ask
if I
my
want to
husband.
see it.
He may tell you something different. So, but yeah, like I think, those spaces,
Yeah.
if you want to have a good time, come with good energy. People are going to try your energy
Yeah.
because they're jaded. And you just got to really stick to and know who you are in those spaces. And I would say that for anybody, even if you were a day player and you came in, right? Know who you are, know what you can do, and be confident in yourself and have a good time. Be happy to be there,
Yeah.
And I was happy to be there. And I think I remained happy. And so that was good for me.
Yeah.
Whether it affected anybody else was not my business. You're jaded. That's a personal thing.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time. I love making art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like
So-
the theme, right? I think of doesn't matter what it is, whether it's larger scale, small scale, the smallest of scale, it does not matter. It's like bringing that joy, literally bringing joy and also bringing joy. I think it's just so important, and you have to bring it to everything you do, or else what's the point?
What's the point?
Why are we
Yeah.
doing this if we're not?
I could have been an accountant. I do line producing. I'm damn good with numbers. I could have been an accountant. I could have been a financial analyst. I know what, unfortunately, I'm good at algebra and all that good stuff. I know that I could have maybe done that, or,
Yeah.
anything
You
else.
could have been a lot of things.
Anything
'Cause you got
else.
a lot of strings to your bow. Like, you would have been a really good teacher. You'd be a really good therapist.
I think
You'd
so,
be, I
too.
mean, there's a million things you could have done. So it's like, you chose this for a reason. Yeah.
Because that's what I feel like when I'm a creative, and I feel the same way about singing, because I still do sing and I still do make music, because it's a weird way to put it, but I have to exercise the demon.
Yeah.
Like, it
I
calls
get
to
what
me.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
No,
at night,
I know
in my
exactly.
dreams.
I know exactly what you mean, because it's almost like I feel like the need to create art. It's not even just like, I want to make a film. I want to make a piece of theater. I have to do it. And I think every creative feels that way. It's like, it's a calling.
got to.
Something.
Or else I'm going to go insane.
Yeah.
I know I've chosen this, because if I don't, I'm going to go crazy if I
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I've been put on this planet to do. So I really have to do it.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't have a choice.
It's amazing. Joy, it's been so great talking with you. Thank
It's
you
great.
so much for hopping on CK Cafe.
Yes, thank
we
you.
love chatting with you. We love working with you. We're so excited about all the projects we're creating together. So excited about the projects that you are making, both behind the scenes, in front of the camera, or on stage, or wherever it is. You're always making such great work. And tell the audience and the cameras and they're listening to it in their cars, what you're working on and how they can follow you, how they can follow your projects.
Yes. So I am working on several projects, but I want you to follow 2 pages specifically. One page is the last performance film. We just did a film fundraising on that, and it went swimmingly. We raised $1,000 that night.
Yeah.
I am producing that horror musical film. It is really special. It is blues and jazz and what we give up as artists. That's what the story about. Like, after the music, what is left of us, right?
Beautiful.
And so I really love the last performance. Really talented people on that. Follow that page. Follow Paul Cuffey's story, and that's on our Black historical mariner, Paul Cuffey. Learn about him. Look him up. They hid him from us for a reason. We're doing that short. We have a music video out called Paul Cuffey Is Me. That's out. That's in 2 festivals right now.
Amazing.
So that's doing well. Follow that Instagram. And
where can they follow you?
You can follow me at joywalsh.mauve, MOV for movie, joywalsh.mauve. And I am always on my stories. I'm posting. I'm doing better. I'm doing better, guys. I'm trying my best. And I have my website. My art is up there. My videos are up there. So it's joytriciawalsh.com. And and I would love for you guys to follow me on my journey.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so
course.
excited to
Thank
be here.
you. Thank you, Joy. We love you.
Thank you, Joy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of CK Cafe. We hope you enjoyed our conversation with Joy. We hope it brought you some joy.
Yeah. That felt like the common theme of the episode. We talked about gratitude and really being grateful for what you have, especially on set, because it's hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And
Film-
having that
filming such
mindset of it's happening.
Yeah. And not even just film. In film, theater, music, whatever
Life.
you make. It's life.
Time keeps on
creativity.
ticking, so
You got to keep on creating. Make sure you check out Joy on her Instagram and everywhere she's at, and check out all of her amazing films. We're so excited and proud of her.
And you can follow CK at CK Productions NY on Instagram. We also have a Substack you can subscribe to.
We're on all platforms.
We're
too.
also on YouTube. We're dropping monthly shorts on YouTube, either from the archives or new shorts and micro shorts that we're making as we go. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, check us out. Stay tapped in with the journey. We appreciate you. We appreciate our producer, Annabella.
Annabella!
And we have Tatum here.
Woo!
Appreciate Tatum.
Tatum!
Yeah.
And stay creative, kids.
Whoa. See you later.
That's my tagline now. I don't know if you've noticed.
I love it.
Thanks.